In this video, you're going to learn what is async ideation, the 3 types of ideation, and an example of ideation in action.
Typically, when we start a project, our teams are in an ideation sort of phase, trying to figure out what it is we're trying to do, why we're trying to do it, how we might do it. Ideation is one of those practices that can benefit from both async and sync tools and techniques. When we go into an ideation session, sometimes people find it difficult to be able to put ideas right on the board in the 5-minute time that we give people to brainstorm. I know I do. Sometimes I like to sit back and ruminate on the idea to be able to see what might be the best thing I want to put down on paper. When you're doing things in an async way, you can use tools like Confluence or whiteboarding tools to give people the opportunity to go add their ideas when it makes sense. Might be in the meeting, it might be right after I wake up in the morning tomorrow. Whenever's the best time for me to think, I want to apply it then. Now, there are 3 types of ideation we want to talk about: brainstorming, decision-making, and project planning.
With brainstorming, your goal is to generate as many ideas as possible. You can set up a Confluence page or maybe a whiteboarding tool. The idea is to set up the space and then allow participants the time to generate as many ideas as possible. You can then take these ideas and then move them to the next stage in the project. When it comes to deciding which of those ideas to pursue, you've got to have some sort of practice to help you inform how you make those decisions. For us here at Atlassian, we use a tool called ideation to help us in our decision-making process. ideation stands for driver, approver, contributor, and informed, and is our framework for helping us kind of align around what decisions we need to make, how we make them, and actually help move work forward. We've got a template built into Confluence that makes it really easy for us to outline these decisions.
When it comes to project planning, Confluence represents a great tool to be able to do things like document the project poster, identify the roles and responsibilities, and outline the next steps. Also, as you're going through the ideation process and you start coming up with work, you can easily convert those work items in Confluence into Jira issues.
Now let's take a look at an example of async ideation in action using these tools. Alright, so let's say I'm on the marketing team at my company and I'm in charge of running a campaign to launch our newest product. Right now we're in the early ideation phase of our project and need some fresh ideas from the team. So where do we start? Well, where I like to start is in Confluence and using a template to create a project poster. And this is separate from ideation, but what the project poster is it's just a good central place for all the information about our project, right? Where does this fit into the broader strategy? Who are the team members involved? Why are we even doing this? How do we measure success? So since we've already built this project poster, the next step is we need to come up with some ideas for our product launch campaign. So where I'm going to start is in a whiteboarding tool. And the cool thing about Confluence is there's a whiteboarding tool built right in. If you go to the side panel under Apps, you'll see an option for Whiteboard. Now this is a brand new feature of Confluence, so the time I'm recording this video, you may not see it in your Confluence yet, but just know that it's coming soon, so stay tuned for that. So if we click into Whiteboard, you can see that we're here inside the whiteboarding tool within Confluence. With any whiteboarding tool, I always like to start with a template. And since we're doing brainstorming, I can select the brainstorming template here. So what I've done, I'm not going to use the template exactly. I've customized the template a little bit to fit what I'm looking for. I've set it up so that each person has their own column and they can just document their ideas on each sticky note down here. So this is where we start the async ideation. So instead of scheduling a meeting and having everyone do this brainstorming session live, to be honest, that wastes a lot of time. If you only have a 5-minute timer, you can't really come up with that many ideas. So instead, we're gonna do it async. What we're gonna do is that we've agreed, we'll give everyone 2 days to come up with as many ideas as they can asynchronously. On your own time, whenever you are thinking fresh, whenever your ideas are turning, that's when you can jump to this whiteboard and throw your ideas onto this list. So I'm gonna jump up here, share this whiteboard with the team, give them the instructions, and we'll come back in a few days. All right, so we're back after our 2 days where the entire team has taken time async to come up with ideas, and look how many ideas we have here documented. So now that we are in this live session together, we don't need to spend any more time coming up with new ideas. We've already got a bunch of them here to work from. Sometimes as we're talking about our ideas, we will, a new one will pop up, and that's really exciting, so we'll add that to the list, but we're gonna move straight over into the next step, which is decision making. Over here, we've set up this chart that goes from low impact to high impact and high urgency to low urgency. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna plot all of the ideas that we came up with directly on this graph. So then we can tell which ideas should we actually pursue and which ideas we can kind of take on another time. So we do that, we plot all of these ideas, and we look up at the very top. The highest impact, highest urgency is to launch a giveaway contest. All right, so we've made the decision that that's what we're going to focus on for right now. Then we move down to the last type of ideation, project planning, right? So we've identified that we want to launch a giveaway contest. Now, what are all the tasks involved to complete this larger project? So as a team, we can walk through and add a sticky for each of those tasks. So when we feel pretty good about this list, what we can do is we can select all of them. And because we're in an Atlassian tool, you can see this little thing pops up where we can create Jira issues directly from within a whiteboarding tool. So we're going to do that. Going to make sure that our site and our project are correct, which they are. And we're going to select create. So now all of these are Jira issues that will be over in our Jira Work Management project to help us track the work. All right, so there it is. We've gone through each of the 3 types of ideation using both sync and async tools and techniques.